Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mr. Abdullah Amin is talking, and welcome to our biology lesson for grade 7. Today, inshallah, we're going to explain Unit 2, Lesson 1, Part 1, which is talking about the protists and fungi. In this lesson, inshallah, we're going to talk about the protist, the characteristics of the protists, and reproduction in the protist. But before we start, guys, let's remember that all organisms are subdivided into prokaryotes or eukaryotes. And as we know in last time, the prokaryotes, they are like bacteria and archaea, 2 kingdoms. And the eukaryotes, they are 4 kingdoms, plants, animals, fungi, and protists. So today, inshallah, we're going to explain the protist. So what are protists, guys? Let's talk about some characteristics of the protist. Protists, they are eukaryotes, which means they have nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. So they have nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. They are, guys, like so diverse group. So some of them are unicellular and some of them are multicellular. Also, they have a complex structure for movement, and they can reproduce sexually and asexually, or both of them, okay, at the same time in the same cycle. So these are like characteristics of the protist that we are going to talk about, inshallah, today. Guys, protists are related to kingdom protista. These organisms, guys, or the protists, so they cannot classified as fungi or animal or plants. So the scientists classify them in separate group, which is protist. And they are very diverse group. You can find some of them are unicellular, some of them multicellular, can reproduce both ways. And also you can find that the members of this group, maybe they are not likely to relate to each other, and so on. If we are talking about, they are eukaryotes, so they have nucleus and membrane-bound organelle. As we can see, guys, here we have this organism, which is called paramecium, and this one, which is called euglena. Okay, so both of them, they have nucleus, this structure, which is nucleus that contains the genetic material. So they have nucleus, and also they have membrane-bound organelle. This membrane-bound organelles, as we can see here in the euglena, we have a chloroplast, which is make food for euglena by using the energy from the sun. And also we have like contractile vacuole, which is remove excess water from the organism. Okay, so they have a lot of membrane-bound organelles, which is organelles surrounded by membrane. Okay, as you can see, guys, the organelles are enclosed in membrane or surrounded by membrane. We have like Golgi complex, contractile vacuole, endoplasmic reticulum, nucleus, and a lot of organelles inside these cells or these organisms. Also, guys, they are unicellular and multicellular. Some protists are unicellular, which means they are microscopic. We cannot see them with our eyes. We need a microscope to see them. And some of them are multicellular, which means we can easily see them. And this multicellular protist, they may grow long, maybe reach to 1 meter in length. Okay, but unicellular organism, which is they are microscopic. Guys, maybe you can find the protist, they can live independently, they can live individually, or they can live in groups or colonies. Okay. Another characteristic of the protist, which is they have a complex structure for movement. This structure may be cilia, which is hair-like structure. So cilia is a hair-like structure around the organism that can beat rapidly back and forth to move. Okay, that allow the organism to move and also help the organism in engulfing or eating. Okay, so the first structure, which is called cilia. The other one, which is called flagellum or mini flagella. This flagellum, which is whip-like structure that make the cell move forward. And the last thing called pseudopod, guys, which is when a cytoplasm go toward the part of the organism and the rest of the organism follows. Okay, so we have cilia that beat rapidly to make the organism move, flagellum also that help in movement, and pseudopod, which is false foot. Okay, when a part of the cytoplasm go toward one side and the rest of the body can follows. Okay, let's see guys how can this structure can help in movement. So this is like paramecium can move by using cilia. Here the flagellum can help in euglena movement, and pseudopod, which is like this is amoeba that can move, wrap around bacteria and can eat it, and also help in movement from one place to another for searching for food and so on. Okay, then guys, let's talk about the reproduction in the protist. We said that the protist can reproduce sexually and asexually, or both. So they can reproduce alternate by sexual and asexual reproduction. Asexually, guys, we know that it's one organism or one parent is needed, and all the offspring are genetically identical to the parent. Okay, so there is no genetic diversity. All the offspring will be exact copy of the parent cell or the parent organism. In asexual reproduction in the protist, we have two types. We have binary fission, when the organism split to make two individuals, two single-celled protists, or fragmentation, and this take place in protist. Okay, when a piece of the body or a part of the body that can break apart and grow into new individual. Okay, so asexually, like binary fission in single-celled protists and fragmentation in multicellular protist. On the other hand, guys, we have sexual reproduction in the protist, and we know that sexual reproduction requires two parents, one male and one female, and each of them can contribute a gamete to the other. So, and the gamete is haploid, which means they have the half number of chromosome or one copy of the chromosome, and the female gamete also it has one copy of the chromosome. So when they bind together, they will make a diploid offspring, which has the full set of chromosome, or we can say it has two copies of genetic material. And this offspring, guys, has unique combination of DNA or unique combination of genetic material because it takes half of it from each parent. Okay, so they can reproduce sexually and asexually. And also, guys, they can alternate by sexual and asexual reproduction, guys. If we look at this cycle, guys, we can find that, guys, this diploid adult, by meiosis, it can produce haploid spores, and each haploid spores can grow into haploid adult. Okay, so a diploid adult, like by meiosis, it can produce haploid spores. They have the half number of genetic material of the chromosome. They have one copy, and each haploid spore can grow into haploid adult. Okay, so we have haploid adults. They can produce by mitosis haploid gametes. Okay, so we have this haploid adult. By mitosis, they can produce haploid gametes. When these gametes fuse together, they will make diploid zygote, which is grow into diploid adult. Okay, so we can see that, guys, we have a part of the cycle asexual reproduction, and a part of it which is sexual reproduction, which is include fusing of gametes and so on. Okay, this diploid adult, guys, in this stage, we call this stage a sporophyte. Because what? Because they can produce spores. And this adult, guys, we can name this stage, this part of the stage is gametophyte because it produces gametes. So sporophyte in this part, okay, and gametophyte in this part. Okay, guys, so the diploid adult, by meiosis, they can produce haploid spores, and this haploid spores can grow into haploid adults. This haploid adult, by mitosis, they can produce haploid gametes. When these gametes fuse together, they will make diploid zygote. Okay, and in this case, guys, the protist can alternate between sexual and asexual reproduction, so we call this alternation of generation. Okay, like they can reproduce asexually when the environmental conditions are good, but guys can reproduce sexually in harsh times or in harsh conditions to make sure that the offspring have traits that allow them to survive later. One last thing, guys, the spore. We know that the spore, which is it's reproductive cell that can live in harsh condition. Okay, that can resist the harsh environmental condition. And this is about the alternation of generation of and reproduction in the protist. And this is everything about part one. And see you next time.